What's going on, everyone? We're back, episode 2 of the JDA show. As always, I'm RJ.
What's going on, fellas? Jesse here.
Andy Giff.
Before we get into things, I just want to say thank you for all the positive feedback we got from the first episode. Heard from about a dozen people. Really appreciate it. Got about 160 listens on SoundCloud. Much more than we expected. So I hope you continue to support, and we're going to continue to produce some good content.
Hopefully, yeah.
No. We're gonna. So on today's agenda, we're gonna start off with some Celtics talk. We haven't talked since during the All-Star break is the last time you heard from us. There's been about 4 games. We're gonna talk about the proposed NFL CBA. Gonna do another little non-sports discussion, a little bit about the hands-free law in the state of Massachusetts, and to close things out, we're gonna do a little bit of a betting segment. So, you guys want to get started with the Celtics talk?
Let's do it.
How do you feel about the last 4 games?
3-1. I'm feeling like Jesse Mullen over here, thinking that the Celtics are going to win the goddamn
East
NBA championship.
Let's slow down. I'm on the record for them winning the East, not the title.
No,
Anything can happen, but hey, 4 out of the last 5 wins. The only loss against the Lakers in that game where I was working, so I didn't get to see it, but that's all I hear. So they got robbed.
I hate to be that asshole who blames anything on the refs. I think that people who do that sound childish. You know what I mean? It's just, but there were some really questionable calls. There was that technical call towards the end of the game.
Yeah. On Stevens,
yeah. And whoever took the free throw.
How about the goal? How about the goaltending? That where LeBron apparently argued the call. It was clear goaltending on Romeo Langford's layup.
So I don't really hate that call as much as a lot of people were like freaking out about it because
the ball hit the backboard first.
It did. But the whole argument on the refs end of it was that there was no chance that ball was going in. If you looked at how.
That's a good, I kind of get it.
If you looked at how Langford laid that up off the glass, to me, it didn't look like it had a chance of going in. But you can't do that. I mean, it was the wrong call, but I understand why the call was made. But what pisses me off about it is that it was called goaltending. LeBron went over, cried about it, and they changed the call. That's what pissed me off about it the most. But
you can trust my opinion more than anything, and they got screwed on Sunday. The refs had a huge impact on that game, especially towards the end. Tatum potentially got fouled going out of bounds there.
Yeah, I thought he got
pushed.
I thought he got pushed.
There's pictures going around on Twitter that Brown was never out of bounds too on that sideline play.
I've seen that picture.
And does not look like he's out. But this has been
Whatever.
a good week.
Honestly, West Coast road trip. I know the Lakers were the only really respectable team that you played on.
Portland was hurt. Utah's been struggling. That was a good win last night on the back-to-back.
Definitely.
Including the Lakers, they had 3 games against playoff teams in the last 5 games where they went 4 or 5. They beat the Clippers, should have beat the Lakers, and then they beat the Jazz. Those are the 3 playoff teams.
Portland's still a team with talent.
Portland
didn't have Lillard.
Portland's contending for the playoffs.
Still was a dominant win.
Yeah. I thought they looked awesome the last few games, honestly.
So I think we can't not talk about what Tatum's done the last 5 games.
Yeah, I bet you'd like us not to, right?
Yeah, I would love to just skip over this topic, but been unbelievable.
I mean, I'm going to go out and say right now, my prediction, he's going to win Eastern Conference Player of the Month for February.
Definitely.
The Celtics record is right there.
You really think you were going out there by saying that?
I mean, everyone's going. The NBA, something crazy happens every night, There's definitely other players that maybe are even averaging more points. I don't know if he's averaging the most. But his February numbers, 30.5 points per game, over 50% from the field, and 50% on the dot from 3-point for the whole month of February. To put that into perspective here, Tatum's the first player in NBA history to go 3 games in a row, shooting 60+% from the field on at least 20 attempts.
First player in history to do that?
No, so I didn't get to finish. On at least 20 attempts, 5 of those attempts being 3-point field goal attempts. First player in history to do that.
Okay.
It's it could be one of those situations where they're fitting the stat
it's like
to the player,
like games
to the
after
moment.
8 o'clock.
Hey, how about this one? He's the first Celtic in the 3-point era to put up 30 points per game on 50% shooting for a whole month since.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Since who do you think?
That's awesome.
Since who?
Paul Pierce.
Larry
Bird. Yeah, since Larry Bird. So he's in good company. I think he's going to win February Player of the Month.
I agree.
He's looking good.
I don't know if him playing in the All-Star game gave him all this extra confidence because when he's out there, I'm not expecting him to miss. And this just hurts.
Doesn't this just stick right in
hurts.
your craw?
People are coming at me on Twitter, and I have to eat it. I have to eat it.
Yeah.
This is one of this won't hurt as bad as if I'm wrong about Brady.
Right.
But this, this is
not there. Those are your two most important takes.
There's nothing RJ hates more than being wrong.
I think it's time to just be open with things. So I wrote. I'm not really good at expressing my feelings.
Oh, you can open up.
No,
you can talk to us, buddy.
So I wrote a letter addressed to the fanboys. So this is how it's going to go.
God,
let's hear it. A little early, boy. Let's hear it.
This is going to be tough. Dear fanboys, over the past year, we've had a constant argument about the talent of Jason Tatum. I'm here to say today, I think I'm going to throw up, that I was wrong. Okay? I was wrong.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that last part.
I was wrong.
Okay.
All right? After watching his production the last month or so, I've realized I've lost this battle. The war's not over yet, though. That being said, I refuse to apologize to you people because all you have always done and always will continue to do is overrate your players. So congratulations, you finally got one right. But like I said, I was wrong. You were right. With much hate and anger, RJ, a.k.a. Dick. P.S. Sixers and 7.
Oh, man.
That
was really nice, RJ.
I haven't heard a sincere letter in a long time. So.
Yeah, those were some nice words.
I had to Google how to set it up. It's been a while.
You could replace fanboys with Jesse in that whole letter.
Oh, man.
It's all of them.
That is just out of line.
Sorry.
Out of left field. I wasn't expecting, this is a guy who usually backs me up on a lot of my takes. And what was that?
Okay, just get that jab.
That's all right. Well, anyways,
with
Tatum's production comes the Celtics' production, and right now the Celtics are sitting at third in the East. They're only a game back of the Raptors.
I think they're a half game now, right?
No. As last I checked today, it was a game, and I don't think they're either are playing tonight. So the Celtics next two games home, both it's a 2-game homestand. We got home against the Rockets, and home against the Nets.
Hey, the Rockets have actually been playing really well.
The Rockets have been. I think they've won 5 in a row.
Schedule should start easing up a little bit. We're getting through this West Coast,
Western
Conference.
The Celtics lost the last game against the Rockets, right?
Correct.
Yes, they did.
Yes,
so
probably about
I'm
2
expecting.
weeks ago.
I'm expecting a pair of dubs there in this homestand. They're coming home after a tough Western Conference road stand. So if the Celtics were to win these next 2 games and the Raptors were to take an L at Denver in their second of the next 2 games, the Celtics would hop into the second seed.
The Raptors are at Denver?
The Raptors are at Denver. They've 2 games, second of those 2 games at Denver. That's a tough game for them. If they lose, the Celtics will jump into the 2 seed. If the Celtics take that 2 seed, I don't really see them. It's easy for me to say. I don't see them giving up the 2 seed.
I think their schedule is going to get easier. I've said before in the other episode, extremely important 2 seed.
Yep.
It'd be much better to not have to go on the road in rounds 2 and rounds 3.
Yeah.
Get that confidence, 2 playoff series at home.
No, but that should speak to how well the Celtics have been playing the last few weeks because the Raptors went on a 15-16 game winning streak.
And they're still only
beat their franchise record.
Yeah, the
and
Celtics
they're a game
are
behind.
41-17 right now.
We're
only 8 wins behind last year's entire season total.
The Celtics could easily
with about
be
25 to play.
3 games up on them right now, 4 games if they go on that crazy, 15-16 game winning streak.
And the Celtics have dropped some games that they should have won.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Obviously, any team, that could be the case for any team.
So someone that's been out of the picture is Kemba Walker. And I have an extreme issue with him playing in the All-Star game on a sore knee, okay?
Yeah.
And then he played over 30 minutes in an exhibition game. So I don't know what it is with these NBA players that care so much about
But obviously his knee wasn't bothering him during the game. There's no way that he was putting it out on the line. Like, there's no way he was telling Nick Nurse, Nick Nurse wasn't looking down the bench like, Kemba, can you go?
Apparently he was
I'm
supposed
pretty
to be
sore, coach, but yeah, I'll get out there. There's no chance that
apparently
happened.
he was supposed to be on a minute
good.
restriction.
It was a freak thing that happened.
He was supposed to be on minutes restriction?
He was supposed to be on a minute restriction. They've kind of gone back from saying that. So when people start taking back their word, somebody screwed up on their end.
If he was supposed to be on a minutes restriction and he played that long
and Toronto's the head
Nick
coach,
Nurse's buddy Kyle Lowry out there on the court, what was Kemba really doing? And if you remember watching that game, he turned the ball over twice when they had game point in that weird first to 157 points.
He's missed 12 or 13 games this season. I'm sorry, he did his team an injustice by playing in the All-Star game.
Potentially.
And we'll see what it's going to be like when he comes back.
Hasn't hurt him so far.
We'll see what Tatum.
It's all right. We have our most important player is producing.
It could be somewhat of a blessing in disguise because maybe Tatum doesn't get this. Tatum got the chance to go off and show people what Tatum could be all about when Kyrie went down.
Right.
Kemba's down. Kemba's been out for 4 games in a row now.
Yeah.
And Tatum's playing out of his mind.
Absolutely.
Maybe it takes because at the beginning of the season we all had a little bit of a sort of debate on whether it was Kemba's team or Tatum's team. Jesse, you've always been in the camp of it being Tatum's team.
Not so
Earlier
much.
in the season, RJ and I were definitely saying it's Kemba's team, and
I'd like to
Brown
clarify.
and Tatum were 2A, 2B. But at this point, I'd have to concede to your side.
I'm fine to say that it's Kemba Walker's team. I think he is the leader of this team. But when it comes to the best player and the best piece on this team, it starts and ends with Jason Tatum.
You're right.
That
he's
6'8".
He's the alpha on the team.
6'8" players that have the skill set he does don't come around very often. Kemba Walker, he's listed at 6 feet. I think he's a little shorter than that. He has to work really hard to get his shot sometimes, and part of what makes him the leader of this team and such a good leader at that is that he lets these other people flourish, whereas some people in the league would be kind of getting...
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. Well, actually, I did want to say it, but I decided not to. They get a little salty. This guy's getting all the attention. And, I also have to shout out Jaylen Brown for that aspect because he's been in the media the past few days since Tatum's, been getting all this limelight. And he said, I want nothing more for my brother. What I want for myself, I want for my... I said my brother twice because that's what he said in the interview, but... he wants this for Tatum, and he's really unselfish, and that's why I think the Celtics team is special in that regard.
They extended Brown. Brown was playing for contract.
Yeah, right.
It might be a different story, but
maybe a little different.
Tatum's
absolutely
in the same position that Brown was in last year, coming out of his third year.
Yeah,
Tatum's going to get a max deal.
Oh yeah,
probably going to get
well-deserving.
Whatever Simmons got, he's going to get that. And I know, it's there's a cap in the NBA, so I don't know what exactly the number is going to be, but he's going to get. To the penny, he's going to get.
Yeah.
So, talking about people doing the Celtics an injustice, now comes a Danny Ainge, who I'm going to reiterate it, did not make a move at the deadline. And they would have 0 losses since the All-Star, coming back from the All-Star break, if they had some bench help on Sunday against the Lakers.
0 losses?
Yeah.
Well,
that was what was
it? You the one who told me... how many bench points did the bench put up that game?
They had
17 bench points?
Well, they only had 3 field goals. That's it. The fact that, and I understand Kemba was out, but this team seems to have a little bit of the injury bug, and I don't want to bring that up and try and put that, ill will on them, but as how well the Celtics have been playing the last 2 months, how do you not reward your players and go out and make a move? And Ainge keeps saying, no, we really don't see anybody out in the buyout market.
Well, what bugs me the most is that a lot of these guys around the deadline time went for dog shit. You know what I mean? Drummond got sold for a bag of peanuts. Granted, I
don't think the money would have worked.
I understand that. Drummond has a massive contract.
Yeah, but probably makes close
to 30 mil. I'm just saying things like that happened around the league where it was absolutely plausible for you to go and make a move, and he sat back and decided to go forward with this group. And I think this group is in good position to actually make a deep run and potentially come out of the East. But like you said, if that injury bug bites Jaylen, bites Tatum, God forbid, Hayward even Marcus Smart, then all of a sudden we go from a potential contender in the East to maybe losing in the first or second round.
Going off what you said though, guys 9 to 10, they're not sure they're a part of the team, but they're not
integral to our success.
Exactly. So there should have been no issue. You're saying we don't have any roster spots. Vincent Poirier, he sucks.
Yeah, he doesn't even belong on an NBA roster.
I think that might be propaganda. You really think he was saying no to deals because he didn't want to get rid of Grant Williams or Vincent Poirier?
No, I mean maybe the right deal wasn't there because
he's on the record for that.
It's not like Danny has been shy of making moves.
He's on the record for saying he's not going to make a move unless he thinks it really is what's best for the team. Right. Sure, RJ does bring up a good point.
Trader Danny's a myth.
Trader Danny is
Hoarder Danny. Hoarder Danny.
No, I was gonna
get
that. You probably have a point when you say he overvalues his own guys.
He doesn't want to lose a trade. That's his thing. He's won so many trades. He's now afraid to really put himself out there and maybe lose one. I would have given up 2 first-round picks for Bertrands from Washington. They're garbage picks in the 20s. You're not going to get anybody there. What are you going to get? Yabusele, Fab Melo, rest in peace.
Well, if it's him drafting at the end of the first round or the middle of the first round, it'll probably be nobody. But a lot of these stars in the NBA actually are people who were drafted mid-late first round. Like, you look at Giannis. You always bring up how the Celtics passed on Giannis. He was
like 16 or 17. Or
you're right, though. They're typically not world beaters at that stage in the draft. If I'm all right with him not making a move.
Contenders should make a move. Even if it's a small move, whether it's the trade deadline or the buyout market, you should make a move.
It's not too late. It's not too late for the buyout market.
He's already said that he still doesn't see anybody out there.
Well, if he doesn't see anybody out there, I trust him. We have
Jamal Crawford.
We have Robert Williams.
You don't think there's anybody that you could bring in that would improve your roster over the guys 10 through 12?
I didn't say that. If it wasn't there for him, he's not going to force it. He must see something that we don't see.
Why not take a flyer on a guy like IT or Jamal Crawford? Why not take a flyer on him?
Need IT. He's going to come back into the mix. He's going to shuffle the rotation, and
but we do
could have a butterfly effect
something
on the
like
Celtics.
that though, because going forward with Brad Wanamaker as your best bench player,
listen,
do you expect to make any sort of splash in the playoffs with something like that? Listen, I shit all over Brad Wanamaker.
The Wanamaker slander needs to stop. That's all.
It doesn't need to stop. It doesn't need to stop.
It's not his fault that he's being thrown into this role.
It's not his fault that he sucks.
It's not. He doesn't suck. That's a myth. It's not his fault. It's not his fault he's being thrown into this role for the Celtics, and I think he's making the best of this role.
He's not having a bad season, but I don't want to see him.
No, and I agree. And I actually sort of
the Wanamaker slander. He was
playing
playing overseas his whole career, and he's finally got a shot.
Should be.
Well, I disagree with that. I don't think he's as good of a bench player if you compare it to his minutes for the Celtics. But what
does Stevens really have to work with? You know what I mean? That's the thing.
I'll take Wanamaker over Carson Edwards. Sorry, he had a lot of talent out of college, and he did great in the preseason. But Wanamaker can show it. He can defend. He's a 6'3" point guard.
I'm not saying that he's not better than Edwards.
No, I know. I'm just saying with our bench
best option off the bench.
With our bench options, Wanamaker is, when Smart's not coming off the bench, he's our best guard off the bench. And
that's not good.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but the slander for him needs to stop because it's not his fault.
He's not going to get it from me. It's not going to stop.
Well, he's not doing anything to deserve the slander. I know he's got this weird posture and he runs around the court, doesn't do anything flashy or pretty, but he gets the job done. He's averaging 6.5 points a game, 2.5 assists per game, and 19 minutes a game off the bench. Not bad. I'll take that.
Want to get into our Ray Allen KG retirement debate, or do you want to do the Brad Stevens? Want to do that? Quick.
I might as well do the stuff that's current Celtics, get it out of the way, and then we'll get to the Ray Allen shit.
So when do you think Brad Stevens needs to get a championship? This is his 7th season. He's 7 seasons in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah,
I think that's.
Seasons.
Is there any pressure?
Pressure to get a championship? That's a tall order.
Pressure to make an NBA Finals.
Pressure to make an NBA Finals
is a decent debate. So since he came into the league, his first season, he was 25-57 with a horrendous roster. If you guys remember, it was when Rondo was like, is he going to be the star of the team? Are they going to deal him? Whatever. So that gets put out the window. But since then, he's gone up and wins every single season up until last year. He's got 2 first-round exits, a second-round exit, and he's got 2 Eastern Conference Finals exits. I mean,
in 7 seasons?
In 7 seasons. He's been to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. He's played LeBron and lost to LeBron twice.
Yeah. I'll give him... Sorry to cut you off. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on all these years previous.
Yeah.
But now is the time where if Tatum is going to take this jump, you have the talent.
Yeah.
So now you have to produce.
I'd say if he doesn't make the finals within the next
season?
2...
No, I'm not saying this season. I'm saying he's
next,
got to make the NBA...
next year and the following...
So what, 3 more seasons to give him a chance to make the finals will be, 10 seasons with the Celtics, essentially. Yeah. I'd say if he doesn't make it out of the East in 3 more seasons with the talent he has, then maybe they'll evaluate the situation. Honestly,
that's what I had written down. So I'm fine with that.
I've heard rumors that he may be interested in going back to college eventually too. Yeah.
Would he lose 2 national championships with Butler in a row or something like that with Hayward?
One was with Hayward, one was without. But yeah, he did lose. Yeah, I don't know if they were both national champions. Either way, yeah, he did lose two crushing games.
Or something.
I mean, the way I see it is, if he ever did want to move on from the Celtics, I think he could get a basketball coaching job, basically any league, whether it's college, NBA. Teams would love to have him, and I hope he stays with the Celtics. I am a Brad Stevens fan, and I have faith in what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, especially with how well the team's been doing this year, that he's bought himself maybe a little extra time.
Yeah, I mean...
I like Brad Stevens, and if you bring in another coach, you don't know what you're getting. You know what I mean? Who knows if you get a disaster like Mike D'Antoni with the Knicks or something like that, and it's just like somebody who has no idea how to manage talent, and then you waste a couple years.
Not to use...
Because if you bring in another guy and he sucks... It's
setback.
pretty seldom that you fire him right after that year, even if you do underperform. So then the next year, and then you guys, maybe a little better, but whatever. Like you're still not making any better moves. So it's like,
I get what you're saying. Not to use a different sport as example, people are saying the same thing about Claude Julien. How do you move on from Claude Julien? Who's going to be the next guy? Moved on mid-season to Bruce Cassidy, and the Bruins have found their guy.
Was Bruce Cassidy keeping it in-house? Was he already with the Bruins before?
For some reason, I want to say he was in Providence. He was maybe some in the Providence Bruins, a coach down there or something.
But I think that's
it was a really it was a smooth transition, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was already in-house.
I think he was somewhere in the Bruins organization,
which obviously is a little different.
I think
but
it's a little more rare to
find
that next guy who's actually gonna be as good as Bruce Cassidy has been.
Doesn't happen. I'd say like the best case of that happening is when the Warriors moved on from Mark Jackson, who had just
Mark Jackson got robbed, dude. That should have been Mark Jackson's
I'm just saying,
Warriors. He could have been one of the better coaches.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, like, I'm highlighting the best case of moving on from someone and it working instantly is Mark Jackson.
It worked instantly because it was Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Mark Jackson, dude, I could have.
Jackson built the ground up, and I think Steve Kerr brought in a new.
Well, what happened? Luke Walton coached them to 24-0 that year.
Yeah, that was after Steve Kerr implemented this new offensive system where they're just They changed the NBA once Steve Kerr became head coach with their 3-point shooting and all that.
All right, let's transition to our Ray Allen Garnett debate. Since last time we talked, Kevin Garnett is going to be getting his number retired up in the rafters at the TD Garden.
Yep.
And that brings the question that has been brought up. Should Ray Allen get his number 20 retired? Jesse, I ask you as the fanboy on the panel. I know you still hold a lot of resentment towards him because you can't get over things that happened 9 years ago. Yeah. So I want to hear.
Well, I'm going to answer your question with a question. First of all,
I like that.
Do you think Kevin Garnett deserves to have his number retired by the Celtics?
Yes. Because the Celtics don't have very, strict regulations.
They do.
Who gets put up there?
They're running out of numbers.
And also, sure, he only won one championship. They should have got a second, but he's still
Defensive Player of the Year in 2008.
It's not even so much for that. To me, it's that he represents the new era.
Yeah,
not even the new era. He represented the Celtics. He really
changed things.
Bled
he
green.
Changed the dynasty,
which is saying something because that was Paul Pierce's team for so long, and the fact that granted, you still
it was still Paul Pierce's team.
Celtics were
Garnett was the number one,
but
all right, let's not get carried away. But
what do you mean? He was the best player on the team.
Pierce was the leader and the number one on that team. When you needed a basket, you went to Pierce. Garnett did all the little things.
Player.
At that point in their careers,
Paul Pierce bias. He grew up
it's not Paul Pierce bias. He was the leading scorer on those teams. He was the guy who got the baskets in the big moments.
I'm not trying to,
But anyway, that's not what we're here for.
Exactly.
So KG's number is getting retired.
So you both agree that
I think Ray's Jesus Shuttleworth, man. Come on.
So you both think KG's number should be retired?
Yes, and so should Ray Allen's.
All right, so that's where I'll jump in here. I do not think Ray Allen's number should be retired by the Celtics.
What less of a role did he play in that whole championship run than any of those other guys?
Well, it's funny you ask. He was the third fiddle on that team, behind Paul Pierce, behind Kevin Garnett. I'm not trying to hate on Ray Allen. He was extremely clutch in his time with the Celtics. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't know if he averaged over 18 points a game once for us. And even in those, he was with the Celtics for maybe four years compared to Garnett's 6. something like that, because he left a year or two prior to.
It's funny that you bring up how many seasons they each played.
Yeah.
Garnett played 396 games with the Celtics. Ray Allen played 358. So the game difference really, Garnett was hurt for a lot of his time here. A good chunk of it. So my thing, the reason I think Ray Allen should get put up there too, because the Celtics don't have high standards.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to retiring numbers. Sure. He's not going to go up because of him leaving for Miami. And that is the only reason.
That's bullshit.
No, that's the only reason he's not going up. The Celtics would, without a doubt, put him up there because they would still.
Let me ask you this: bring up the season. Do you think the Celtics win a title without Ray Allen on that team?
No, of course not. They don't win a title. They don't win a title. They don't win a title without any member of that starting five, whether it's Rondo, Perk, or any of that.
But my point is that he was an integral part of that team, and he was clutch in the playoffs.
Sure, but when are we retiring numbers for being an integral part of one championship run?
Garnett's getting retired for.
He was more than that. He was an integral part of the team for 6 years. Ray Allen's last.
So we're talking about championship.
Say Ray Allen was on the team for 4 years. He was the fourth best player for half of those years.
Behind Rondo. Come 2010 and on, Rondo was more important to that team than Ray Allen.
I don't disagree.
Ray Allen was battling his bone spurs. He was he played more games.
Make fun of a guy's medical condition.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Yeah.
No, I don't think Ray Allen's number should be retired.
Do you think Rondo's number will get retired?
No, I don't think either of them should be retired. But I think they both have the same. If I was in charge of putting numbers up there, I would give them each the same chance of getting their number retired.
Garnett's Celtic legacy is non-existent if it's not for Ray Allen getting traded here.
That's not true. He would have been the same legendary Kevin Garnett figure.
No, he doesn't come here. He doesn't waive his no trade clause to come here.
All right,
I think there's a chance.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know that's where you're going.
And we may not win a championship. So we're gonna retire guys' number for playing 6 years here after he already reached his prime in Minnesota.
Well, he did win a championship, and they almost won a second championship.
I'm saying, but if Ray Allen never came here, who knows what that team would have looked like?
They could have just gone and got freaking Kevin Martin, and it probably would have been the same result.
Oh, come on. People want to be upset that he went to Miami. That's fine. Yeah. My message is, for now, here we are, 8 years later, get over it. The guy helped us win a championship. And also, people forget, the Celtics were trying to trade him.
Yeah, sure. He was being dangled in rumors and all that.
So let's just not, they don't win a champ. We've never seen a Celtics championship if it wasn't for him. So fine, you don't think his number should be retired, but to continually bash this guy, get over yourself.
I was just about to say,
how could you
starting to get over it?
I know you are, but there's people on Twitter that I read these mentions on these tweets, and I want to punch them in the face.
What about Ray Allen?
I'm still salty that he went to Miami. I'm not happy about that, but I'm willing to be mature about it and get over
the hatchet.
The thing that hurts about that was because he went to LeBron's Miami. Yeah, he could have gone anywhere else, and it wouldn't have stung as much, but the Celtics were asking him to come off the bench. They were asking. They weren't going to pay him as much as Miami offered.
They offered him more money than Miami.
They just signed Courtney Lee.
He signed for less money to go to Miami.
I do remember hearing that, but he was going to have a lesser role because what?
Ray Allen said afterwards that I'm not going to stick around to play for less money.
Either way, he signed for less money. Boston offered him. I don't know. I could look it up. Boston offered him more money. Boston offered him more money, and he went to Miami because he felt disrespected. That was the end of the day, what it was.
Well,
I also have an issue with how the way Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Rondo, and all them have handled the situation.
I'm kind of happy
get over it. What are you, a 15-year-old girl?
They're starting to get over it now. Paul Pierce
he's the only one. He's the only one.
He's the first domino to fall. I think, if anything, Ray Allen maybe deserved a few years of being left cold. You know what?
A few years? They were on TNT like a year ago, excluding him.
All right, sorry. A few years isn't 4 to 5 years. I consider if that's what it is.
No, whatever. It's 2 to 3.
Oh, a few still. Technically 2 to 3. Anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, one of my favorite moments as a Celtics fan growing up, when I was so invested in this team that had that big three, was when Ray Allen made his return to Boston. He came over to the Boston Celtics bench, tried to dap up everybody, went up to KG, tried to give him a dap. KG fucking ignored the shit out of him, and I loved it.
That's fine.
Petty.
Yeah, here we are 8 years later.
One season, it was the season after.
Okay,
I'm not going to call him petty for
fine.
that.
Don't go on TNT. Don't go on TV and bash the guy.
And
like,
gang up on him?
Like a high school girls with their drama?
No,
like you said, they're petty.
I think that's embarrassing.
Well, I think that shows how serious their bond was as a team and how
how
hurt they felt that
Understood, but it's also a business, and like you have to look out for number one. And if you're going to be disrespected by your teammates and the organization,
people want to say it's not a business. People want to say it is a business when it fits for their situation.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And you do have a point, Andy. It is a business, but I just wanted to highlight that.
No, that is a good point.
Yeah. I just think this will be my last thing to say. When you have so many memories of the guy winning a championship, especially the only championship we've seen, I would like to see them at one point bury the hatchet and just move on.
Yeah.
You could do that by retiring his number.
Would they even show up?
No, they wouldn't show up.
What do you think?
They wouldn't show up.
Dude, I don't know if Garnett would come.
I think
Ray Allen try to come to Garnett's. They haven't announced a date for it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was there.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition to a different sport. The owners have proposed to change the CBA, which expires after next season. And I'm just going to read off a quick thing to let listeners know.
Before we do that, you guys have read over it. I just want to get initial thoughts. Good or bad on the CBA proposal by the owners? Just like
good or bad?
Yes.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, for the
Jesse?
most part.
I'm not gonna. I like some of the things they brought up with it. I dislike some of them. I don't want to be flip flopping. Andy said he doesn't want that.
But why don't I?
Overall, I disagree.
Sure. Just go over the points. I just wanted to get your guys' opinions on it before we did. But
so the proposed CBA by the owners, which has been approved by the owners, but now has to go through the players' union, is that it'll go up to a 17-game regular season. Some teams with the 9th home game will play on a neutral site, so like international game, Mexico, England, maybe Canada.
It's not going to be every team though.
Yeah, because they can't do that.
I heard they were going to play one in North Korea too.
Yeah, you're just full of jokes tonight, aren't you? So there's going to go up to 7 playoff teams from each conference. Only one team from each conference gets a bye, so just one seed from each conference has a bye. And then the rules on marijuana are going to become less strict.
Less strict in what sense?
Wait, you said the rules on marijuana are going to become less strict?
Yes.
Oh, past that CBA.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Coming from the guy that's on an edible right now.
All right,
smoke
just kidding. It was a joke. I don't want to put him out.
Inside
like
joke.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's for you guys to decide.
A little bit, right? Can you start with that marijuana thing? Because I read through the article and I wasn't positive on exactly what was proposed through it, because it said that I understand that there will be less severe penalties for players who test positive for THC, but it also said that testing will be more frequent, from 4 months to an average of every 2 weeks. These guys are going to be piss tested every 2 weeks?
It's probably going to depend what player you are, or what your previous drug history is. What are you trying to play a sound bit or something?
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I won't.
I was going to play Stephen A. Stay off the weed.
Off the weed.
So I like the extra regular season game. Sure, it's going to probably mess up records a little bit, but it's more football. So you cannot complain about that. You get an extra game of football a season. I don't love the extra playoff spot because I kind of think it promotes being mediocre. If that went into effect this past season, the 2 extra playoff teams would have been the Rams and the Steelers, who, in my opinion, were not playoff teams last year.
No.
So we don't need to see those type of teams get in the playoffs.
I agree.
I do like that one team gets a bye, though, because I think that really
like that?
I think it really emphasizes that you got to be the best team in your conference. Think how easy it's been for the Patriots to get a bye every single year because it's been the top 2 seeds. They were 11-5 the year they beat the Rams.
To do either, but I know what you're saying. To me, I think that it should be one or the other. I think you either expand the playoff format or you expand the season.
You only do one.
I think if you're going to come to an agreement,
you can only do them together, is what you're saying.
If you're going to come to an agreement with the NFLPA, I don't see how both of those things pass, because that's that's another week for more football teams to have to play. You know what I mean? So now instead of a 17-game season, it's also another week of playoff football. And the biggest argument that the NFLPA has and the players have a gripe with is that, listen, it's a long, gruesome season. I mean, you see it almost every year. Some guys face almost career-ending injuries. You know, I don't think that anybody. Granted, I understand that the owners are offering an additional % in the total revenue if they expand to a 17-game season, but the players want that additional % still at the 16-game season. So
the owners are all about the money. That's why they want that 17th. Do you know how much money they're going to make with that 17th game?
Right. Yeah. It'll be enough to offset that 1%.
And there's going to be an extra wild card game too now.
Oh my God.
So they're going to make buckets of money.
Right.
How many concussions are going to happen?
If you want to expand the season,
they know what they signed up for.
Yeah.
If you want to expand the season, and if you want to expand the playoff format, then bump that agreement from 48% of a share of revenue to 49%. Because honestly, the players are the ones who are making you the money, anyways. You sit back like fat fucking cats in your booths up there. I'm just saying, like, it pisses me off. I understand where these players are coming from. They're putting their lives on the line.
Like RJ said, they're human gladiators. If there ever was one for any sport, it's an NFL player.
It's the toughest sport. I don't want to hear people say, "Oh, hockey's so tough. They drop the gloves and they fight."
Do you know how fast they skate on the ice?
Do you know how much
people hit their head?
But with how much money the NFL makes every year, it's a $9 billion industry. I mean,
yeah,
it's
more by far than any other sport, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure it's more than all other major sports combined.
Probably. I mean, they own a day of the week for fuck's sake.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I did see that in that article that we read, which was on NFL.com.
Yeah.
What was it? It was, if the players do get that additional 1% of revenue, then they'll earn $2 to $3 billion over the next 10 years, which is what the extent of the CBA is gonna until this CBA would expire. And if they did go to if they agreed to a 17-game season, then they would get 48.5%, which would bump it up to about $5 billion. So
whether it's this year or next season, it's going to get passed. The owners get their way; they always do, because the NFL players are always afraid to lock out and miss their game checks.
Yeah.
So whether it's this season or next season, it's going to happen. And I believe the leader of the players' union came out either today or yesterday and said that he thinks it's going to go through.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have it up right now. The NFLPA reps voting overnight passed along proposed CBA to all players. Vote was 17-14. One abstained. Owners agreed to remove $250,000 cap on 17th game check for existing contracts. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's interesting. To me, I don't think the players are going to go for it. I don't, but.
Next season, do you think they're going to go for it?
Yeah, because they have time to not go for it. You know what I mean? The
there's
CBA
no urgency right now.
The CBA doesn't expire until after next season. So
there's no urgency.
So in order to kind of stick it to the owners and in order to try to gain some bit of leverage, the players are going to be like, yeah, no, like this isn't what we want. You're going to have to drop another CBA over, the next offseason. And at that point, we'll talk. But
all right, let's move on to our weekly off-topic segment. So I really wanted to talk about this garbage state of Massachusetts, where I can no longer legally talk on my cell phone.
Can't text and drive anymore?
I don't even care about that.
I do.
Yeah, of course you do. What do you usually do when you're on the road? I'm just...
Scroll through Instagram, Twitter, scroll through Facebook. I'm Snapchatting a lot. I mean, whatever. I mean, I mostly have my eyes on my phone than the road. Sometimes I'm driving down the road... And I look up, I'm like, how did I even get here?
Wait, you guys use your phone while you drive? Are you kidding me?
How many accidents you've been in? Andy, I really appreciate you letting us record here and everything and always hang out here, but frankly, I think you're a piece of garbage for what you just said. Oh. One of these times, you're going to be on your phone, driving somewhere in, around here, and little Sally's just going to run into the road to go after her ball. And you're going to kill her, and she's going to be dead. And I'm not coming to visit you in prison if I find out you were sliding through Instagram. I can't wait.
Sliding through Instagram. We know what Andy's doing. He's swiping on Tinder.
Twinder?
Never mind.
Yeah, sometimes I use Tinder in the car too.
Yeah, well, you're driving, you're changing locations.
I get bored when I drive.
Put on a podcast or the radio. You need to be on Instagram.
Gonna listen to us.
Listen to the JDA show when you're driving. Put your phone down and just do that.
I heard it's hot right now.
Nah.
I heard that show sucks.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Jesse? Do you text and drive? Be honest.
No, I mean,
you guys are gonna call me out for being a piece of garbage. I think that both of you guys are just as guilty.
Texting and driving is definitely bad.
Agreed.
They should try and police that. It's tough to make a blanket law like that because for you to not apparently you can't set a GPS. You can't have your phone anywhere near your hand, or else they're gonna
hands free.
Yeah,
even in your lap.
Yeah, and that
it's tough. On something.
I
got a cup holder.
I don't want to say that I agree with the law, but
I'm gonna be.
Why don't you start using it?
I do actually now.
No, if you're gonna enforce, I feel like the only way you could enforce it is if you do a blanket law like this hands-free law, because you can't. Obviously, if you get pulled over and the cop's like, "Oh, I saw you on your phone. You were texting." What I'm gonna say? No, officer. I was setting the GPS because I don't know where I am right now. People say stuff like that. It's.
Yeah, but it's still gonna happen.
It is going to happen, and people are going to get tickets. Apparently,
the only way it's going to stop, and this is probably happening right now, is that there's going to be cops stopping a bunch of people for.
Apparently,
people are going to get hammered. Do you know how much money the state is going to make off this?
Apparently, for the first 3 months, you get a warning for your first time. So at least there's
good.
that.
So you're going to get a warning.
Yeah, I haven't got my warning yet.
The second time, you're going to get a fine, and you're going to have to go to class or something. Yeah. You really want to go to class instead of a bunch of degenerate losers? I don't know how to drive.
So, what do you think? You think you agree with it being there, or you think it's a bogus? You think it's a bogus
I agree
law?
with it. No, I agree with it.
Completely disagree.
You think it's over? You think they're overstepping their boundaries a little bit?
I think they should. People that text and drive and scroll on Instagram like you. My opinion, if I was like a dictator, you get the chair. You're dead to me. But if my phone is sitting in my cup holder, okay, and I get a call from somebody, I should be able to pick up my phone and put it to my ear and talk. I'm not distracted doing that. Yeah. And I'm sorry, that's garbage.
No, I agree. That's why the only way to police it is to have this stupid blanket law.
I live in a
there's
state.
Just so many ways to weasel your way out of it. If you get pulled over for using a cell phone, there's just so many different excuses you could use.
We live in a state where we cannot legally bet on sports, and then also can't talk on the phone when we're driving around. And I want to get it trending on Twitter. Hashtag Charlie Baker out. I want everybody at the polls next time he's out, or next time he's up for re-election, I want him gone. He's garbage. The roads suck.
Charlie Baker.
I can't legally bet on
sports.
Not that
bad.
Really.
That bad. Yeah.
He had his whole thing over.
I voted for him.
So did I. The tea explodes every day. That's what happens when you get garbage made from China.
Ooh.
Yeah, China. We could do a whole episode on China.
Yeah.
Corona. Yeah. You don't look too good, Jesse. You might have the coronavirus.
Hide your kids. Yeah, you feeling all right?
Feeling fine.
You sure?
Yeah, you don't look so good. Jesse shaved his beard, by the way.
So you don't look so good.
Jesse has a respirator on while we're recording this.
Well, I think everyone saw the picture that was put up by the CDC talking about what's safe for your respirator and what's not.
Yeah, no beards.
I had to shave the beard.
You can have a mustache, though.
Everyone was asking me to keep it.
I don't think anybody asked you.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what you're
My mom told me I should keep it, but
the CDA posted a picture about what facial hair would be acceptable.
I don't know what the CDA is.
Or it's the CDC.
CDC, yeah.
So you don't even know.
Center for Disease Control is what I think it stands for.
Yeah.
And they put out,
So you're the betting expert here.
Yeah.
Do a betting segment.
Over under coronavirus
victims in Massachusetts in the next month. Over under. I'm going to set it at 10.5. I'm going to take the under.
10.5. I'll take the over. I'll take the over.
Has there been one in Massachusetts?
Yeah, there was. Right when the epidemic started, there was some asshole who flew in from Wuhan, from the center of where it started, came back to Boston.
Where? Who are these assholes?
China? I said Whoville. I was like, what the heck?
You know what's crazy? It kind of speaks. Like they do say it's just as bad as the flu, whatever. But The guy who was in charge of like the main hospital in Wuhan, he was a hospital director. He died from the coronavirus. That kind of should speak to how like.
I mean, if you're around it that much.
Well, I don't think he was hands on with it. It's just I think that whole hospital was infected to bits.
It's getting overblown. If you don't know anybody that has it, don't worry about it. That's the way I look at it. Like if one of my friends got it, I'd start to get a little nervous.
Back to the Center for Disease Control.
Until it affects you, it's no big deal.
Well,
why the heck do I care?
Typical take from Dick over here.
If it doesn't concern me,
that's why they call him Dick.
If the coronavirus is not in my atmosphere, then go kick rocks. I don't care. CDC, it doesn't scare me.
What if 1 billion people died, but it still didn't affect you personally?
If it's not like in my, like if it's not really touching
my with a B
circle of people, I'm good. That's how I feel.
An asshole. And you're going to sit there and call me a piece of shit?
I don't even think this virus could touch me if it wanted to.
I did see something that coronavirus can't legally enter your body without consent.
That's fucking hilarious.
Anyways,
Thanks.
Thanks. The betting hour.
The betting hour? You're going to spend the whole hour on this?
Yeah.
The betting hour! Hell yeah.
We got the Manchester
Actually,
Minute,
this episode's over.
Hour.
We're going to kick you over to Jesse's personal podcast.
Yeah, for the betting hour.
Fair show.
No, but so we'll start. We all kind of knew that we were going to do this segment before the show started.
Well, before we get into it, can you explain to people your track record of gambling? Pretty borderline expert. Without going into too much detail so it doesn't look like you have a problem.
Borderline problem is what I was going to say.
Easy, guys.
Come on. People are going to listen to this. His uncle's going to listen to this.
JK.
I like to bet every once in a while on sports. Sometimes I hit, sometimes I don't. That's the extent of that. But anyways, I think we got a couple segments here for betting. You guys want, we discussed, I can't even talk now. We were each told to pick a bet of the weekend, and would anybody like to start with that? RJ, how about we hear your bet of the weekend first?
Bet of the weekend.
Get into detail here.
It's a lock for me.
Yeah, all right. It's a lock of the weekend.
I know some people at this table are real afraid to use the word lock because they you don't want to fully commit. But lock of the weekend, I don't even know what the line is set at because they're not out yet. Whatever the over for the Celtics Rocket game is Saturday night, hammer it. Boston is 8th in points for. Houston is 2nd, and we all know Houston doesn't play defense.
Hey,
and it's at home. Tatum's playing great right now. Hammer the over.
You know who does play defense? The Boston Celtics. They're 3rd in opposing points per game, and they're 4th in defensive rating in the whole league. So,
did you find stats just to stump my lock of the week?
I thought of what RJ's lock of the week was. I know he loves to bet over unders because he loves to bet. But and no, that's not why I brought those stats up. But I did have those written down, and if I hadn't used them, I would feel a little bad. This is the first prep I've done for the episode, so.
Yeah, it's about time.
What do you got? Well, I want to hear your pick, Jesse.
This is
I have 2 picks, so maybe I'll say one, let you get to yours, and I'll get to my hometown pick of the week.
Sure.
Your hometown?
I'm not going to spoil it before I say it, but I'll be on the record for my lock of the weekend. We're going to English Premier League soccer. We're going to my boys from Manchester United.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
We're going to my boys from Manchester United,
right.
They're 3 points back of the top 4. If you don't follow soccer, being in the top 4 in your league means you basically make the playoffs. What's called the Champions League. It's all of Europe. Anyways.
Yeah, I had my coworker.
They're right. So they're in the hunt. They're in 5th place right now. They're playing against a crap team, Everton. They're in 11th place.
Don't shit on Everton.
They're plus 185 on the money line. For those of you who don't know, that means if you bet $100, you win 185. I'm saying hammer Manchester United money line on March 1st at home against Everton. If you want to get rich, if you have a big bank account, drop $1,000 on it. I'll cover $20 of that if you lose. So
I have a counter question.
What if the 167 listeners who listen to the first
also 1,000? Yeah. I'll be in the hole, but I don't have to worry about that because Manchester United's going to win. They have new signings from the January transfer window.
I need to know this going forward.
Yes.
Are you going to try and force in soccer talk to every single episode?
Absolutely. Because if we're not talking a little soccer every episode, what are we doing?
You know what? I think there's some audience for it.
No, there's not. Nobody listening right now cares about soccer.
That's fine.
I know Dylan Bragel's listening, and he likes soccer, and I know There's a few other of our friends who like
one person that likes soccer. That's why we're going to talk about soccer.
I can think of 5 people who care about what I'm saying right now.
Name them.
No, I'm not going to name them. I don't want to put them under pressure like that.
You just blew up Dylan.
5 volt. Dylan can take it.
Dropping on the podcast.
All right.
Shout out Dylan Bragel.
I got his consent before I dropped his name, so that's all right. But yeah, Manchester United, lock it in if you want to make some money. Manchester United money line. What's
your Andy?
So this might be a bit of a coin flip, but if you want to make some money, like Jesse was saying, I'm actually going to pick the Nuggets on the road at the Clippers.
Money line?
No, to cover the spread.
What is it?
Actually, you could take money line because it would probably pay out a little bit better. But the Clippers are favored 5.5, and I think Denver is honestly just as good as I won't say the Lakers, but Denver's I don't understand. I picked the Clippers before the season started. I picked the Clippers to come out of the West and to win the championship.
Wow.
With Kawhi and PG and that little fucker Pat Beverly.
Oh gosh.
And the Zubac guy.
Just as talented as Marcus Smart, by the way.
Oh,
well,
that is not true.
If Jesse watched Patrick Beverly play every night, he'd love him.
I hate
Pat. This guy's a man of all trades.
Yeah, I would love him, but it doesn't take us.
As much as Smart flops, he's not as obnoxious as Pat Beverly, which is saying something because Marcus Smart's kind of obnoxious.
Patrick Beverly is a poor man's Marcus Smart.
Disagree.
But
that's for another.
I'm telling you, man, I think the Nuggets could honestly beat either one of those teams in a 7-game series. Maybe not so much LeBron's Lakers, but
that's a good bet.
Plus
Don't 5.5 is a good bet.
Take it.
Say it again.
It'll pay out. The Clippers
are
minus 5.5 at home against the Nuggets. Take the Nuggets in an upset. I think it could happen. The Clippers just have not been playing to their potential this year, and
are you taking the Clippers minus 5.5 or the Nuggets plus 5.5?
I'm taking the Nuggets money line.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Oh wow, I like that. That's fine.
That's not my lock. That's my pick.
I haven't checked the odds, but I'm
if you
sure.
Want me to pick a lock.
You're fine.
If the spread's 5.5, that means the Nuggets money line is relatively good payout. It's probably something like plus 200 or more.
Take it.
I don't mind that pick. So I did want to touch on one other little specialty pick of the weekend.
Please don't be soccer.
It's not soccer.
Thank
it's even
God.
better. It's golf. South Hadley's own Richie Werenski right now is playing in the Honda Classic.
Who?
Yeah. If you've never heard of Richie Werenski, do you even follow local sports? Because this guy...
Local high school golf?
I don't care
it's
about
not high school golf. This guy's from South Hadley. He's on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, how many times does he miss the cut a year? I don't care that he's on the tour.
He has over $2 million in winnings
good
from
for
golfing.
Him.
Anyways... He's 4 strokes back the lead.
Probably a prick.
Going into movement day on the weekend. You want to hear it? You want to hear his odds? This is why I'm bringing it up. He's plus 30,000 to win. That means if you put $100 on Richie Werenski, the South Hadley native, to win the Honda Classic, mind you, he's only 4 strokes back. It'd pay out $30,000. So you guys want to maybe pull together $35 each, and we'll go in on that?
Hell no! I don't know this asshole. I'm not gonna bet on some douchebag from South Hadley. Listen, Richie,
douchebag from South Hadley. Wait, Andy, what did Andy Gifford say? Douchebag from South Hadley.
I'm sorry, Richie. I'm sure that you're a very nice guy, and I don't mean to be coming at you like this, but for Jesse to be pulling this up right now is
if you're listening,
unwelcome.
Please don't make that bet. Please don't make that bet. Just get
how much of that are you going to cover if it doesn't hit?
I did not say it's a lock of the weekend.
You brought it up.
I'm just highlighting it because he's grinding. He's from South Hadley.
Well, you know what,
he's doing what we all wish we could do professionally. Golf.
I'll take a step back. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, why wouldn't you root for him?
Of course I am.
You could put $10 on Richie Werenski to win the Honda Classic.
Richie what?
Richie Werenski.
Might as well wipe it with your ass.
He's probably like 26, 27, 28.
Never heard of it.
He got his tour card maybe 4 years ago.
That's legitimately throwing money away. Throwing it away.
I'm not even recommending it. I'm just highlighting his odds.
You had to bring it up, though.
Yeah, because
bring it up.
Local guy, why not give him a little airtime?
I don't care about this loser golfer from South
How many
Hadley.
other people from Granby, South Hadley, Chickpea are playing professional sports right now? He might be the only one.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Nobody knows who he is. Do you understand that?
Jesse does.
I know.
Has he ever played on a Saturday or Sunday? I'd really like to know
he
that.
Has.
Or is he done on? He's off on the weekends, right?
So he's
actually,
He has a PGA win under his belt.
He has a PGA win?
Yes, you're bringing up Richie Werenski 2 episodes in.
Who cares?
Some bum golfer from South Hadley.
He's not a bum.
He's not a bum if he's playing on the
He's a bum in retrospect to people on the tour.
Let's hear his career winning. I'm looking up his career winnings here.
While we're doing that, let's move on. You picked 4 games that we're going to pick the spread against.
Yep.
And we're going to keep track of our records.
Yeah, we're going to keep an ongoing record here.
So we have Nets versus Hawks, which is what's the line, 2.5?
1 sec. I got to...
Wait, can I change my pick if we're going to keep track of our records?
No, yeah, so we're going to keep it all down
Actually,
here.
no, I'll stick to it.
Okay.
I don't know where I wrote the spreads because you gave them to me.
Well, whatever.
That's because no, it's right here. So, so we got the four games we're going to be picking here to start off our record keeping on picks is
not always going to do basketball either.
No, it can be a mixture of any sport. We'll definitely try and mix it up more in the future. But so the 4 games are the Brooklyn Nets at the Atlanta Hawks. The Nets are minus 2.5 on the road. It's a toss-up. We're going to be making our calls. Then we have the Thunder at the Bucks. The Bucks are minus 10.5 there. You have Mavericks at Heat, which is a great game. Gotta love both of those teams.
Mavericks.
Heat are minus 2.5 in that. And then
Take the Mavericks.
Then you have 2 of the top 4 teams in the West. Nuggets at Clippers. The Clippers are minus 5.5 at home. I guess if you guys have your picks ready, I'd like to hear.
I'll go first.
But where's the pen? I'd like to keep this written down here. RJ took it away from me because
you kept clicking it.
I don't think anybody heard, but all right, we'll get RJ.
I did. It
Jesse, Andy.
I got Nets.
All right.
Bucks, Mavs, Clippers.
Nets, Bucks, and that's picking the spread there.
I understand
Mavs. That. Yeah, I'm letting the people know here because the way you said it makes it seem like you're just picking them to win. Andy, let's hear who you got. Nets at the Hawks. Nets are minus 2.5. Who you picking there?
Hawks.
You got the Hawks.
Nice trade, baby.
You got the Hawks covering, and I actually am going to piggyback Andy there, and I'm going to take the Hawks as well. OKC at the Bucks. OKC's real surprise story this year. Chris Paul is playing great.
Yeah,
the Bucks are getting 10.5 points there. Who you
I want to pick OKC just because, but yeah, I have to go with the Bucks.
The Bucks are basically an unstoppable force right now, so I will also piggyback there again. We got a unanimous decision on the Bucks. Mavericks at Heat. Heat are getting 2.5 points. What do you like there?
I like the Mavs. I like Luka.
You know, it's hard to pick again. I've always had a soft spot for the Mavericks. You know, I've always respected Dirk, but my real love for the Mavericks came when they beat the Miami Heat in the first year of the Big Three. That might be the most underdog / like I don't even know the word. It was just the most
satisfying thing
to see. Dirk Nowitzki cooking the Big Three.
Yep.
LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh all in their prime. Yep. So my fandom for the Mavs started there, and it'll never stop because I'm also a big Mark Cuban fan.
References, don't you?
Shout out Shark
40.
Shout out Shark Tank. Great show.
Shout outs everywhere tonight.
Last game, Nuggets at Clippers. Clippers are minus 5.5 at home against the Nuggets. Who you got?
Nuggets
5.5 is a lot to give the Nuggets. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Nuggets as well.
Right.
So we got some. So RJ's taking the Nets, whereas me and Andy are taking the Hawks. We're unanimous on the Bucks and the Mavs. And me and Andy are taking the Nuggets, whereas RJ's taking the Clippers.
You and I are the same all the way.
Me and Andy have the exact same picks here.
That's awesome.
So we'll obviously track this going forward. Next episode, we'll release the results, and we'll keep running tally. We'll have a punishment and a reward for, I guess, who finishes best when we decide to make a stopping point.
We didn't talk about that, but hey, it's fine by me.
What kind of punishment?
I don't know. We'll have to think of it. But
like a punishment?
What fun would be picking all these things, keeping our record if we didn't have a reward or a, last place.
A good lashing.
You guys got anything you want to discuss?
I just want to say
going into the weekend.
I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of Jesse's Twitter followers for voting for the rightful winner, me, from last week's episode for the fast food draft.
Sure, I forgot to bring that up.
I mean, did we really have any doubt?
Yeah, because Dunkin' Donuts
is garbage.
You just said you were going to get Dunkin' before you came over here.
Yeah, because I didn't want my fat ass did not need McDonald's.
It's only up there for convenience.
Yeah, and
obviously
you ate McDonald's
everyone knows the quality of their food's
Yeah,
terrible.
I still didn't go.
You ate McDonald's and you were thinking about getting Dunkin' today.
You're gonna wake Peter up.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh
wow.
No, I like.
Jeez,
that.
Turn your volumes down. Jesse, you got anything going into the weekend? Don't say United. You can't say golf or soccer. You've used it all up. You got nothing, we'll just move on.
Well, why don't you say something, because you're really putting me on the spot here.
I don't have anything. I'm just looking forward to the weekend. And that's pretty much it for me. Sure, the Bruins have a good game.
I would just like to reinforce the fact that I said Jason Tatum is going to win February Player of the Month for the Eastern Conference. That kid's a bona fide star in the making, and he's only going to get better. He's on the career trajectory of Paul Pierce. Tatum. That's
he
all
can
I
be
gotta
better
say.
than Paul Pierce.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm here now.
He can be better. Yeah,
that's the truth.
I'm not.
Wow,
Andy. He's got a lot.
Awesome.
He's got a long way to go before we'll
Sorry,
that,
everybody.
It's possible.
My last thing I want to say: there's been reports coming out today about Brady. Now's the time to join me.
Yeah,
he's gone.
It's not looking so good.
He's gone.
Not looking so
I don't
good.
believe
Come to my
bums.
side now. He's gone. It's over.
Oh,
If you see a report,
I saw an article and it was titled "We Asked Gisele Bundchen where they're going to end up." Here's her answer. I opened the article and the first sentence is, "Even Gisele Bundchen doesn't even know." I'm like, fuck was the point of me?
So
opening
the big release today was an article saying, "Oh, I'd be stunned if Brady returned to the Patriots." You know who that article is by? Jeff Darlington. You think I'm going to take my advice on whether or not Brady's re-signing with the Pats from Jeff Darlington? As if he knows anything about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's keeping it a secret, and he'll be back with the Patriots come.
Granted, none of this can gain any ground until the CBA is reached. But
I disagree with that. They could talk right now if they wanted to. They know what the proposed CBA is going to be either way. They can't even talk. Drew Brees in New Orleans. They've already come to an agreement that they're going to stay together. All right, let's not open that can of worms.
Yeah, I don't want to.
We're pretty much almost in an hour, so that's pretty much going to do it for us. Like I said at the beginning, we appreciate all the support. I hope you give this a listen. I'd like to see us get close to 150 plays on SoundCloud.
Why? That's less than what we just got in the first one.
175.
200. 200 or we're not making another episode.
I got the 200.
Up the ante.
200 or no more episodes.
Yep, I'm with it.
Okay, that's going to do it for us. Yeah. Appreciate listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yep, sayonara.
See you guys.